Jake Miller wiped the sweat from his forehead as he looked at the broken buildings ahead. The planet Kepler 442c was hot and dusty. The air smelled like metal and death. 3 years ago, this place had been a busy mining colony with thousands of people. Now it was empty and dangerous. "Captain, are you sure about this?" Kate Brooks asked through the radio. She was watching from their ship, the Frontier's Edge. "This place gives me the creeps," Jake smiled a little. Kate was tough, but abandoned planets always made her nervous. "We need those mining tools, Kate. The company is paying us good money for salvage work." Danny Torres, their medic, walked up. Beside Jake, he was carrying a heavy scanner and breathing hard. "The air is safe to breathe, but barely. We should wear masks anyway." Lisa Carter was already inside one of the broken buildings. She was their engineer and loved to explore old machines. "Jake, you need to see this," her voice crackled through the radio. "Some of these mining robots are still working. We could fix them and sell them for a lot of money." Jake nodded and walked toward the main building. It was huge and made of gray metal. The walls had big holes in them. Dark stains covered the ground. Jake tried not to think about what those stains might be. The Shriekers had attacked this place. 3 years ago, everyone knew the story. The spider-like creatures were as big as cars and could walk through walls for short times. They had acid for blood and hunted in groups. The colonists had tried to fight, but there were too many Shriekers. Most people escaped on ships. The rest died. "Danny, stay close," Jake said as they entered the building. "Lisa, how much longer do you need?" "Give me 2 hours," Lisa replied. "These machines are in better shape than I thought." Jake and Danny walked through the empty halls. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. Broken furniture was everywhere. Papers and clothes were scattered on the floor. A child's toy lay in one corner, covered in dust. "This is sad," Danny said quietly. "All these people had to leave everything behind." Jake picked up a photo from the floor. It showed a human family smiling at the camera. A man, a woman, and a little girl with bright eyes. Jake thought about his own daughter back on Earth. She was 8 years old and loved to draw pictures of spaceships. "Captain," Kate's voice came through the radio again. "I'm picking up some strange readings. There might be something alive in the main complex." Jake stopped walking. "Alive? What kind of alive? I don't know. The scanner shows a weak biosignature. Could be an animal or maybe some kind of plant. Or a Shrieker," Danny added nervously. Jake thought for a moment. They were supposed to avoid any dangerous areas. The company did not want to lose another salvage crew, but something made him curious. "Kate, is it moving?" "No, it's been in the same spot for the last 10 minutes. Very weak signal. We'll check it out," Jake decided. "Lisa, how are you doing?" "Almost done here. Found some really good stuff." Jake and Danny followed Kate's directions deeper into the complex. The hallways got darker and more damaged. Some doors were completely blocked by fallen metal beams. Others hung open like broken mouths. They reached a section that looked like it had been hit by an explosion. The roof had collapsed in several places. Sunlight came through the holes, making strange shadows on the walls. "It should be just ahead," Kate said through the radio. "Be careful, guys." Jake pushed aside a piece of twisted metal and saw something that made him stop. In a small space under some fallen concrete, there was a pile of old blankets, and the blankets were moving slightly. "Danny, get your medical kit ready," Jake whispered. He moved closer and carefully pulled away one of the blankets. What he saw made his heart race. It was a child, but not a human child. The creature had pale blue skin and large dark eyes. It was very thin and looked sick. When it saw Jake, it made a small frightened sound and tried to hide. "It's okay," Jake said softly. "We're not going to hurt you." The alien child was small, maybe 6 or 7 years old if it was human. It had long, thin arms and legs. Its head was larger than a human child's head, and its eyes were huge and filled with fear. Danny knelt down beside Jake. "Is that a Vellani?" he asked quietly. Jake nodded. The Vellani were a peaceful alien race that lived on several planets near human space. They were known for being gentle and telepathic. Jake had met a few Vellani traders before, but never a child. "What is a Vellani kid doing here?" Danny whispered. The child looked at them with those big dark eyes. It was clearly afraid, but also seemed too weak to run away. Jake could see that. It was starving and dehydrated. "Hey there," Jake said in his gentlest voice. "My name is Jake. This is Danny. We want to help you." The child did not answer, but it stopped trying to hide. Jake noticed that it was wearing torn clothes that might have once been nice. There was a small device around its neck that looked like a translator. "Can you understand me?" Jake asked. The child nodded slowly. "Are you hurt?" Another nod. Danny opened his medical kit and pulled out a scanner. "I need to check if you're injured," he said to the child. "This won't hurt." The Vellani child watched Danny with wide eyes as he ran the scanner over its body. After a minute, Danny looked at Jake with a serious expression. "Malnutrition, dehydration, and exhaustion," Danny said quietly. "But no serious injuries. How long has this kid been here?" Jake looked around the small hiding space. There were empty food containers and a few bottles that had once held water. Someone had been taking care of this child, but not recently. "Kate," Jake called into his radio. "We found a survivor, a Vellani child. We're bringing it back to the ship." "A survivor? After 3 years?" Kate sounded surprised. "Looks like it. Tell Lisa to hurry up. We need to get out of here." Jake looked at the alien child again. It was watching him with those huge eyes, and Jake could see intelligence there. This was not just some scared animal. This was a person, a child who had been left alone in this terrible place. "What's your name?" Jake asked gently. The child opened its mouth and made a soft sound. The translator on its neck flickered and then spoke in a mechanical voice. "Zara." "Hello, Zara," Jake said. "We're going to get you out of here." Jake carried Zara carefully back to the frontier's edge. The alien child was lighter than he expected, but her breathing was weak. Danny walked beside them, checking his medical scanner every few steps. "How is she?" Jake asked. "Not good. She needs food and water right away, and rest," Danny replied. "I think she's been alone for weeks, maybe months." When they reached the ship, Kate was waiting at the loading door. She stared at Zara with surprise. "I've never seen a Vellani child before. She's so small." Lisa came running from the engine room, her hands covered in grease. "Is that the survivor? Poor thing looks half dead." Jake brought Zara to the medical bay. Danny had already prepared a bed with clean sheets. Zara's big eyes looked around the room nervously. Everything was new and strange to her. "It's okay," Jake said softly. "This is our doctor. He's going to help you feel better." Danny gave Zara some water first. She drank it slowly, like she was afraid it might disappear. Then he offered her some soup. She ate tiny bites, watching the humans the whole time. "Jake," Kate called from the bridge. "We have a problem. Come look at this." Jake made sure Zara was comfortable with Danny, then went to see what was wrong. Kate was standing at the control panel, frowning at the screen. "The ship's hull has acid damage," Kate said. "Looks like shrieker acid. It happened when we landed." Jake felt his stomach drop. "How bad is it?" "Bad enough. Lisa says we need at least 2 days to fix it, maybe more." 2 days? Jake looked out the window at the empty colony. "We can't stay here that long. This place is crawling with shriekers." "We don't have a choice," Lisa said, walking onto the bridge. Her face was serious. "If we try to take off now, the hull will crack open. We'll all die in space. Jake rubbed his forehead. This was not good. They were stuck on a planet full of deadly creatures, with a sick alien child to take care of. I'll start the repairs now, Lisa said, but I'll need help. I'll help you, Kate offered. Danny can watch the kid, Jake nodded. I'll set up security around the ship. If the Shriekers come, we need to be ready. For the next few hours, everyone worked hard. Lisa and Kate crawled under the ship with welding tools. Jake set up motion sensors and weapons around their landing area. Danny stayed with Zara, giving her medicine and trying to make her comfortable. By evening, Zara was feeling a little better. She could sit up and talk through her translator. Jake brought her some of his own food to share. Thank you, Zara said, through the mechanical voice. Her real voice was soft and musical. You're welcome, Jake replied. He sat down next to her bed. Zara, can you tell me what happened here? How did you survive? Zara's big eyes became sad. My family came here with the peacemakers. We wanted to make friends with the humans. Peacemakers? Villani, who talked to other species. Make trade agreements. My mother and father were important peacemakers. Jake understood. Diplomats. Your parents were diplomats. Zara nodded. When the bad creatures came, everyone ran to the ships. But I was playing in the old buildings. I got lost. My family looked for me, but the creatures were everywhere. They had to leave without me. Jake felt his heart break. This child had been abandoned, left alone on a planet full of monsters. But it wasn't her family's fault. They probably thought she was dead. How did you stay alive for so long? Jake asked. A human stayed behind. An old man named Peter. He found me and hid me in the safe place. He took care of me for a long time. Where is Peter now? Zara's eyes filled with tears. The creatures found our hiding place last month. Peter fought them so I could run away. He didn't come back. Jake put his hand gently on Zara's shoulder. Peter was very brave. He saved your life. He said humans are good at protecting people, Zara whispered. Even people who are different. Just then, an alarm started beeping. Kate's voice came over the radio. Jake, get up here now. We have company. Jake looked out the window and saw shapes moving in the darkness. Big, dark shapes with too many legs. Shriekers, he said. What are those? Zara asked, fear in her voice. The bad creatures you told me about. Don't worry, we won't let them hurt you. Jake ran to the bridge. Kate and Lisa were already there. Watching the screens, Danny came running from the medical bay. How many? Jake asked. At least 6, maybe more, Kate replied. They're staying just outside our sensor range, but they're definitely watching us. They're smart, Lisa said nervously. Smarter than regular animals. Jake looked at his crew. Kate was checking her weapons. Lisa was monitoring the ship's systems. Danny was preparing medical supplies in case someone got hurt. They were good people, brave people, but they were not soldiers. We'll take turns on watch tonight, Jake decided. 2 people awake at all times. If the Shriekers attack, we defend. The ship, what about the kid? Kate asked. She stays in the medical bay. It's the most protected part of the ship. As the night went on, the Shriekers got closer. They made strange clicking sounds in the darkness. Sometimes one would appear in the light from the ship, and Jake could see its horrible form. It was bigger than a car, with 8 long legs and glowing red eyes. Its body was covered in hard shell, and acid dripped from its mouth. Around midnight, Danny was on watch with Jake when he noticed something strange. Jake, look at the kid. Zara was sitting up in her bed, staring at the wall. Her eyes were closed, but her head was moving slightly, like she was listening to something. Zara? Jake called softly. Are you okay? Zara opened her eyes and looked. At Jake. The creatures are moving, she said. 3 of them are going around to the back of the ship. 2 more are coming from the left side. 1 big one is staying in front. Jake stared at her. How do you know that? I can feel them thinking. They're hungry and angry. They want to get inside the ship. Jake grabbed his radio. Kate, Lisa, we're about to be attacked. 3 shriekers coming to the rear. 2 from port side. 1 staying at the bow. How do you know that? Kate asked. Trust me. Get ready. Jake looked at Zara with new understanding. The Villani were telepathic. She could sense the shriekers' minds. Can you keep telling me where they are? Jake asked her. Zara nodded. The big one is moving now. It's coming to the front door. The others are getting ready to attack all at once. Jake spoke into his radio. Here they come. Everyone ready? The attack came fast and violent. The shriekers hit the ship from 3 directions at once. Their claws scraped against the metal hull. Their acid spit hissed and bubbled on the windows. Kate and Lisa fought back with energy weapons, shooting through the gun ports Jake had opened. Danny helped by throwing flash grenades to confuse the creatures. Behind you, Zara shouted suddenly. One got through. Jake spun around just as a shrieker phased through the wall. The creature was huge and terrifying up close. Jake shot it with his rifle, but the bullets barely slowed it down. The shrieker lunged at Jake with its claws. Jake rolled away, but the creature was fast. It cornered him against the wall. Then Kate appeared, firing her big plasma rifle. The blast hit the shrieker in the head, and it collapsed, twitching. Green acid blood pooled on the floor. Thanks, Jake panted. Don't mention it, Kate replied. Is everyone okay? They checked the ship. Lisa had a small cut on her arm from acid splatter, but everyone else was fine. The shriekers had retreated into the darkness. Jake went back to check on Zara. She was shaking with fear, but also watching him with amazement. You saved each other, she said quietly. Even when you were in danger, you helped your friends. That's what humans do, Jake said. We take care of each other. Zara was quiet for a long moment. My people think humans are too violent, too loud and dangerous. But you fight to protect people, not to hurt them. Sometimes violence is necessary, Jake explained, but only to protect innocent people, never for fun or anger. Zara nodded slowly. I think I understand now. You're not violent, you're brave. Jake smiled. Get some rest, Zara. Tomorrow we'll work on getting off this planet. As Jake walked away, he heard Zara say something in her own language. Her translator flickered and said, Thank you for being human. The next morning, Jake woke up to bad news. Lisa was under the ship with her tools, but she looked worried. The damage is worse than I thought, she told Jake. The acid ate through more metal than we could see. We need at least 3 more days to fix everything. Jake looked around at the empty colony. In the daylight, he could see claw marks on the buildings and dark stains everywhere. 3 days is too long. The shriekers will figure out how to get inside the ship. Kate walked over with her rifle in her hands. They're already learning. I counted 12 of them watching us from the old mining buildings. They're staying back, but they're definitely planning something. Danny came out of the ship carrying his medical bag. How's Zara? Jake asked. Better. She ate some breakfast and her color is improving, but she's scared about staying here longer. Jake made a decision that surprised everyone. We can't just sit here and wait. We need to take the fight to them. Are you crazy? Lisa asked. There are only 4 of us and dozens of them. Maybe hundreds, Kate added. This whole planet is infested with shriekers. If we stay here, they'll eventually break through our defenses, Jake explained. But if we hunt them first, we can thin out their numbers and keep them afraid of us. Kate thought about this. You want to go on the offensive, exactly. We clear out the buildings around the ship. Make a safe zone they can't cross. Danny looked nervous. What about Zara? We can't leave her alone on the ship. Actually, Jake said, Zara might be our secret weapon. They went inside to talk to Zara. She was sitting up in bed, looking much stronger than the day before. When Jake explained his plan, her big eyes got even wider. "You want to hunt the bad creatures?" she asked through her translator. "We want to make the area around our ship safe," Jake said. "But we need your help. Can you sense where they are hiding?" Zara was quiet for a long moment. "My people don't like fighting. We think violence is wrong." "What about protecting innocent people?" Jake asked gently. "Is that wrong?" Zara thought about this. "The old human Peter, he fought the creatures to save me. He said sometimes you have to fight to protect others." "Peter was right," Jake said. "We're not fighting to hurt anyone. We're fighting to keep you safe and to keep ourselves alive so we can get you home." Zara nodded slowly. "I can feel them. There are many creatures in the big building across from here. 8 or 9 of them. They're waiting for dark to attack again." Jake looked at his team. "That's our first target. Kate, what weapons do we have?" Kate smiled for the first time in days. "Enough to make some noise. Plasma rifles, shock grenades, and that old rocket launcher you bought on Mars. Lisa, can you keep working on the ship while we're gone? I'll have it ready by tomorrow night. If you can keep those things away from me." Danny checked his medical supplies. "I'll come with you. Someone might get hurt." Jake shook his head. "Someone needs to stay with Zara and Lisa. If we don't come back, get them off this planet." "You'll come back," Zara said quietly. "I can feel your thoughts. You're determined to protect everyone." Jake was surprised. "You can read our minds?" Little bit. Human minds are very loud compared to Villani minds. You think about protecting others all the time. It's like a song in your thoughts." An hour later, Jake and Kate were moving carefully through the ruins toward the big building. They wore body armor and carried their best weapons. Jake had his rifle and a belt of grenades. Kate had her plasma rifle and a shotgun for backup. "There," Zara's voice came through their radios. "2 creatures on the roof. 3 more just inside the main door." Jake and Kate couldn't see the shriekers, but they trusted Zara completely. She had been right every time so far. "We go in fast and hard," Jake whispered to Kate. "Hit them before they can phase through the walls." Kate nodded and pulled out a shock grenade. On 3, 1, 2, 3, they charged through the broken doorway. Jake saw the first shrieker immediately. It was hanging from the ceiling like a giant spider, its red eyes glowing in the darkness. Jake shot it 3 times in the head before it could move. Kate's plasma rifle lit up the building with blue fire. Her shot hit a second shrieker in the chest, burning through its shell. The creature screamed and fell. "Behind you!" Zara's voice shouted through the radio. Jake spun around, just as a third shrieker tried to grab him with its claws. He rolled away, and Kate shot it with her shotgun. The blast knocked the creature backward into a wall. 2 more coming down the stairs, Zara reported. "And the ones on the roof are moving." The fight lasted 10 minutes, but it felt like hours. The shriekers were fast and smart, but Jake and Kate worked together perfectly. When one of them was in trouble, the other was there to help. And Zara's warnings kept them alive, telling them where attacks were coming from. When it was over, 6 dead shriekers lay on the floor. Jake and Kate were breathing hard, but neither was seriously hurt. "Good work," Jake said into his radio. "Zara, how many more are in the area?" "The ones that were watching from other buildings ran away. I think they're scared now." Kate laughed. "Good. Let them be scared." They cleared 3 more buildings that day. Each fight was different, but the result was always the same. The shriekers were deadly one-on-one, but they couldn't handle Jake and Kate working as a team with Zara guiding them. By evening, they had killed 15 shriekers and wounded several more. The area around their ship was safe. "I can't believe we did that," Danny said when they got back. You two took on the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy and won. We had help, Jake said, looking at Zara. Without her, we would have been dead in the first building. Zara looked confused. But I didn't fight. I just told you where they were. That's exactly what we needed, Kate explained. Information is the most powerful weapon there is. Zara was quiet for a moment. In the fights today, I felt your minds working together. You trust each other completely. When one of you was in danger, the other one didn't hesitate to help, even if it meant getting hurt. That's what teams do, Jake said. My people don't understand this, Zara said. We avoid danger. We run away from fights. But you run toward danger to help others. Danny sat down next to Zara. Is that bad? No, Zara said. I think it's beautiful. You're willing to risk everything for people you care about. Even for me, and I'm not even human, Jake smiled. You're part of our team. Now, Zara, we protect our team. That night, no shriekers attacked the ship. Jake stood watch alone, looking out at the dark buildings. He could see shrieker eyes glowing in the distance, but they stayed far away. Zara came to sit with him. She was strong enough to walk around now. They're afraid of us now, she said. Good. Fear will keep them away while Lisa finishes the repairs. Jake, Zara said quietly, I want to learn to fight like you and Kate. Jake was surprised. I thought your people were against violence. My people have never met creatures like the Shriekers, Zara replied. And they've never met humans like you. I think both things have changed how I see the world. Jake looked at the alien child. Her big eyes were serious and determined. Fighting isn't something you should learn unless you really need to. I might need to someday. To protect someone else, like you protected me. Jake nodded slowly. Okay, tomorrow. When we're not hunting shriekers, Kate can teach you some basic self-defense. Zara smiled, the first real smile Jake had seen from her. Thank you. I want to be brave like humans. You're already brave, Zara. You survived alone on this planet for months. That takes more courage than most people have. As they sat together in the quiet ship, Jake realized something important. Zara wasn't just learning about humans. She was changing what it meant to be Villani. And maybe, when this was all over, both their species would be better for a dot in the distance, a shrieker. Howled in the darkness, but it sounded far away and lonely. The hunters had become the hunted. On the second day of hunting, Jake and Kate found something that made their blood run cold. Deep inside the mining complex, behind layers of broken machinery and collapsed tunnels, they discovered a huge underground chamber. What is this place? Kate whispered, shining her flashlight into the darkness. The chamber was bigger than their entire ship. The walls were covered with a strange sticky substance that glowed faintly green. And everywhere, attached to the walls and ceiling, were thousands of oval shapes the size of footballs. Eggs, Jake said quietly. Shrieker eggs. Zara's voice came through their radio from the ship. I can feel them. There are baby creatures inside those eggs. Thousands of them. Kate stepped closer to examine one of the eggs. It was warm and pulsing. Slightly. How long until they hatch? Soon, Zara replied. Maybe a week, maybe less. They're almost ready. Jake felt sick to his stomach. If thousands of new shriekers hatched here, they would spread across the planet like a plague. Then they would find ways to get to other planets. The entire galaxy could be in danger. We need to get back to the ship, Jake said. Now, they ran through the tunnels as fast as they could. Behind them, they could hear shriekers moving in the darkness. The creatures knew their breeding chamber had been discovered when they reached the ship. Lisa was waiting with good news and bad news. The good news is I can have the ship ready to fly in 6 hours, she said. The bad news is we're not going anywhere. What do you mean? Jake asked. Lisa showed them her scanner readings. I've been monitoring the planet's orbit. There's a solar Storm coming. If we try to leave during the storm, our ship will be fried by radiation. How long until the storm passes? Kate asked. 3 days minimum. Maybe 4. Jake sat down heavily. The eggs will hatch before then. Danny looked confused. What eggs? Jake explained what they had found. Danny's face went pale. Thousands of baby shriekers? We can't fight that many. We have to destroy the eggs before they hatch, Jake said. It's the only way. How? Kate asked. That chamber is huge, and it's deep underground. Our weapons won't destroy all those eggs. What about explosives? Lisa suggested. If we could collapse the tunnels, bury the whole chamber. Jake shook his head. We don't have enough explosives. And the chamber is too big. They sat in silence for a moment, thinking. Finally, Zara spoke up. There might be a way, she said quietly. Everyone looked at her. She was sitting on her bed, looking nervous but determined. My people have a special ability, Zara continued. We can connect our minds with others. Share thoughts and feelings directly. Telepathy, Danny said. We know about that. No, this is different, Zara explained. This is deeper. When Villani connect their minds, they can share everything. Knowledge, skills, even physical abilities. But we've never tried it with humans before. Jake leaned forward. What are you suggesting? If I connect my mind with all of yours, we could fight as one person. You would know exactly where every shrieker is at all times. You could react faster than any creature could move. And I could share my telepathic abilities with you. Kate looked interested. That sounds useful. What's the catch? Zara looked down at her hands. Human minds are very different from Villani minds. The connection might hurt you, or it might hurt me. No one has ever tried this before. How badly could it hurt us? Danny asked. I don't know. Maybe just a headache. Maybe ... Zara paused. Maybe death. The room went quiet. Jake thought about his daughter back on Earth. If he died here, she would grow up without a father. But if he didn't try to stop the shriekers, millions of children across the galaxy might die. I'll do it, Jake said. Jake, no, Danny protested. It's too dangerous. The whole galaxy is too dangerous if we don't stop those eggs from hatching, Jake replied. I won't let innocent people die because I was afraid to take a risk. Kate stood up. If Jake's doing it, I'm doing it too. Me too, Lisa said. Danny looked around at his friends. You're all crazy. But I can't let you do this without medical support. Count me in. Zara looked amazed. You would all risk your lives for people you've never met? That's what humans do, Jake said simply. We protect people who can't protect themselves. Zara's eyes filled with tears. I've never met anyone like you. My people think only about avoiding danger. But you think about protecting others, even if it means facing danger. Both ways of thinking have value, Jake said gently. Your people's peaceful nature is beautiful. But sometimes, when evil threatens innocent lives, someone has to stand up and fight. Zara wiped her eyes. I understand now. And I want to help you fight. Not because I like violence, but because I want to protect people too, Jake smiled. Then, let's do this. How does the mind connection work? Zara explained the process. It would take several hours for her to establish links with all 4 humans. During that time, they would experience strange sensations as their minds adjusted to the connection. And once the link was complete, they would need to destroy the breeding chamber quickly. The mental strain would be enormous. If we're going to do this, we need a plan, Kate said. We can't just run into that chamber and hope for the best. Jake pulled out a map of the mining complex. Here's what we'll do. We go in through the main tunnel. Zara guides us past the adult shriekers using the mental link. We plant explosives around the support pillars in the chamber. Then we get out before the whole place comes down. What if the explosives don't work? Lisa asked. Then we improvise, Jake said. But those eggs cannot be allowed to hatch. They spent the rest of the day preparing. Lisa built the most powerful bomb she could with their limited supplies. Kate checked and rechecked their weapons. Danny prepared medical equipment for after the mission. And Jake practiced meditation techniques to prepare his mind for the connection dot as evening approached. Zara began the mental linking process. She sat in the center of the room with the 4 humans around her. She closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. Jake felt it first. A gentle touch in his thoughts, like someone tapping on a door. Then Zara's presence flowed into his mind, and suddenly he could feel her thoughts and emotions. Her fear, her determination, her gratitude toward the humans who had saved her life. But he could also feel something else. Through Zara's mind, he could sense the shriekers across the colony. Dozens of them, moving through the ruins, hunting for the humans who had killed so many of their kind. One by one, Kate, Lisa, and Danny joined the mental network. Jake could feel their thoughts mixing with his own. Kate's tactical mind, analyzing threats and planning responses. Lisa's technical knowledge, understanding how things worked and how to break them. Danny's compassion, always thinking about how to help and heal others. And binding them all together was Zara's telepathic gift, letting them share information instantly and react as a single organism. This is incredible, Kate said. But Jake heard her thoughts as well as her words. I can sense every shrieker within a mile, Lisa added. They're getting ready for another attack. The eggs are growing stronger, Zara said. We have maybe 18 hours before they start to hatch. Jake stood up, feeling the mental connection stabilize around him. Then we go in tonight. One last mission, and then we can all go home. As they prepared for the most dangerous fight of their lives, Jake realized that Zara had given them more than just tactical advantages. She had shown them what it felt like to truly understand another person's thoughts and feelings. For the first time, he understood what the Villani meant by peace. It wasn't just the absence of conflict. It was the presence of genuine understanding between different minds, but he also understood something else. Sometimes to protect that peace, you had to be willing to fight for it. The hunt was about to become a war. Jake and his team moved through the dark tunnels like ghosts. The mental connection with Zara made them faster and smarter than any human had ever been. They could sense every shrieker in the complex, feel their thoughts and predict their movements. 12 creatures between us and the breeding chamber, Zara whispered through the mental link. Her voice echoed in all their minds at the same time. Jake could feel Kate's tactical mind working, planning the best route through the tunnels. Lisa's knowledge of the building's structure showed them which passages were safe and which were blocked. Danny's steady calm kept everyone focused despite the danger. We go left here, Jake decided, but his teammates already knew his plan before he spoke it. The mental connection let them share thoughts instantly. They moved like a single organism, with 4 bodies. When a shrieker tried to ambush them from above, Kate was already aiming her rifle before the creature appeared. When another tried to phase through a wall behind them, Danny had a grenade ready. Lisa knew exactly which support beams to avoid, so the tunnel wouldn't collapse. The first real fight came when they reached the main chamber entrance. 6 shriekers guarded the doorway, their red eyes glowing in the darkness. Now, Jake thought, and all 4 humans attacked at the same moment. Through Zara's telepathic connection, Jake could feel what the shriekers were thinking. Their primitive minds were focused on hunting and killing. But they had never faced enemies who could predict their every move. Kate's plasma rifle cut down 2 shriekers before they could react. Lisa threw shock grenades that stunned the others just as they tried to phase through the walls. Danny and Jake finished them with precise rifle shots. The entire fight lasted less than 30 seconds. The breeding chamber is just ahead, Zara said. Her mental voice sounded strained. The telepathic connection was taking a lot of energy from her small body. Jake could feel Zara's exhaustion through their link, but he could also feel her determination. She was pushing herself beyond her limits to help them save innocent lives. Across the galaxy, they entered the massive breeding chamber, and Jake's heart sank. There were even more eggs than he had seen before. Thousands of them covered every surface, pulsing with green light. Some of them were starting to crack. "The babies are almost ready to hatch," Zara warned. "We have maybe an hour." Lisa ran to the support pillars with her explosives. Through their mental connection, everyone could see her technical analysis of the chamber's structure. She knew exactly where to place the bombs for maximum effect, but as she worked, more shriekers poured into the chamber. Dozens of them, including some that were much larger than the others. Queen shriekers, Kate realized, seeing the massive creatures through their shared awareness. The big ones are the mothers. The queen shriekers were twice the size of normal shriekers, with thicker armor and deadlier claws. They also seemed smarter, coordinating the attacks of the smaller creatures. "Protect Lisa while she plants the bombs," Jake ordered, but his team was already moving. The mental connection made them incredibly efficient. The battle that followed was unlike anything that had ever happened before. 4 humans and 1 alien child, linked by telepathy, fought against an army of monsters in a chamber full of unborn nightmares. Jake could feel Kate's combat instincts flowing through his mind, making him faster and more accurate with his weapons. Kate could access Lisa's technical knowledge, understanding exactly how the Shrieker's acid blood worked and how to avoid it. Lisa could use Danny's medical training to know where to hit the creatures to cause maximum damage. Danny could tap into Jake's leadership experience to coordinate their movements, and Zara gave them all something incredible. Through her telepathic gifts, they could sense every attack before it happened, react to threats they couldn't see, and work together with perfect timing. But the mental strain was enormous. Jake could feel Zara's mind starting to crack under the pressure. Her small body wasn't meant to handle this much telepathic energy. "Zara, you need to break the connection," Danny said while shooting at a queen shrieker. "It's killing you." "No," Zara replied firmly. "You need me to stop these creatures. I won't let you down." Jake felt a surge of emotion through their mental link. Not just from Zara, but from all of them. They were more than a team now. They were family, bound together by shared thoughts and feelings. "Almost done," Lisa called out as she placed the last explosive. 30 seconds and this whole place comes down." But the queen shriekers seemed to understand what was happening. They threw themselves at the humans with desperate fury, trying to stop the destruction of their eggs. One of the queens broke through their defenses and lunged at Lisa. Its massive claws reached for her just as she finished arming the bombs. Jake threw himself in front of the attack, taking the queen's claws across his chest. Pain exploded through the mental link, shared by all 5 minds connected to Zara. Kate screamed in fury and emptied her plasma rifle into the queen shrieker. The creature collapsed, but more were coming. 10 seconds, Lisa shouted. "We need to get out of here." Danny dragged the wounded Jake toward the exit while Kate covered their retreat. But they weren't going to make it. There were too many shriekers between them and safety. Then Zara did something that changed everything. Instead of just sharing thoughts and sensations, she opened her mind completely to the humans. For one perfect moment, they experienced what it meant to be Villani. They felt her species' deep love for all living things, their commitment to peace and understanding. But they also felt something else. Zara's new understanding of human courage. Her belief that sometimes to protect innocent life, you had to be willing to fight and die. The mental connection flared with power beyond anything Zara had ever achieved. The 4 humans moved with superhuman speed and coordination, cutting through the shriekers. Like they were moving in slow motion, they reached the tunnel just as the explosives detonated. The breeding chamber collapsed in a roar of falling rock and twisted metal. Thousands of Shrieker eggs were crushed or burned in the explosion. The threat to the galaxy was ended, but the mental strain finally broke Zara's small body. She collapsed as soon as they reached the ship, her mind exhausted. Beyond recovery, Danny worked frantically to save her life, while Lisa prepared the ship for takeoff. The solar storm had weakened enough for them to escape the planet safely. For 3 days, Zara lay unconscious while Danny monitored her vital signs. Jake, despite his own injuries, stayed by her bedside constantly. When she finally woke up, Zara's first words were, "Did we save them? The innocent people?" "Yes," Jake said gently. "We saved them all." Zara smiled weakly. "Good, that's what humans do. That's what I wanted to learn to do." 6 months later, Jake stood on the beautiful world of the Villani, watching Zara play with other children her age. She had recovered completely from their ordeal, but she was different now. Stronger and more confident than any Villani child had ever been. The Villani Council had been amazed by Zara's story. For the first time in their species' history, they were reconsidering their strict pacifist beliefs. Maybe sometimes they realized peace had to be defended with force. Zara ran over to Jake with a big smile. "The Council wants to start a new program," she said excitedly. "Villani and humans working together to protect people who can't protect themselves." Jake smiled back. "That sounds like a good idea. What are they going to call this program?" Zara's translator flickered as she spoke a phrase in her own language. Then it said in its mechanical voice, "Guardians of Peace." "I like that," Jake said. "And I think your friend Peter would have liked it too." Zara nodded seriously. "He taught me that being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you do the right thing even when you are afraid." As Jake watched Zara teaching other young Villani about human courage and determination, he realized that their adventure had changed more than just one alien child. It had planted the seeds for a new kind of cooperation between species. Humans would always be the ones willing to fight when fighting was necessary. But now they had allies who could help them understand when fighting was truly needed and when peaceful solutions might work better. The galaxy was a safer place because a human ship captain had decided to save one abandoned alien child. And that child had grown up to become a bridge between two very different ways of seeing the universe. Sometimes, the greatest victories came not from defeating enemies, but from making new friends.